welcome to you from the venue for the next Historics auction. We are just a stone's throw from Windsor Castle and we are looking at 3 cars that you could buy on July the 16th. Now, to help me today is car fan and YouTuber Tom Exton and auction expert Mathew Priddy. My car today is the Ford Focus RS and I'll be looking at whether it could double its money from when it was new.
And I'll be taking a look at this Aston Martin Vanquish. Absolutely beautiful, and it's got a stonking, naturally aspirated V12 slap bang in the front of it. Matthew, what have you got?
I've gone for something a little bit more classic and probably worth the sum of your 2 cars put together. This beautiful Mercedes-Benz 280 SE drop top with a 3.5 litre V8. Something a bit classy.
Unlike you. This is a Ford Focus RS Generation 2. It has got the wonderful rear wing on it, which I absolutely love. And then up front, the telltale bonnet louvres. Now, you might have noticed the colour. I call it Kermit Green. The official term is Ultimate Green. But I'm going to go inside and get on with the business of driving it. And I need some ballast. Yes, you'll do.
Right, Vicky, off we go. Out on the roads in the mean streets of Datchet in our Ford RS.
No one will ever see us approaching.
It's very understated.
Oh,
So first of all, have you driven one of these before? You have?
I am a massive RS fan. I just love the fact that they're always shouty, they're always so much fun to drive, and they put grins on people's faces.
But they are the right things to be is in these colours, aren't they? These bright oranges, bright
Yeah.
greens. We were saying a little bit like the Lamborghinis. If you've got one of these, you do want someone to know
Yeah,
that you've got an
exactly.
RS. You don't want it to
Exactly.
think it's just a normal Focus.
No. Because if you want a normal Focus, just go and buy a normal Focus.
Yeah, exactly.
I want it to pop and bang though when I lift off the throttle, so should we try and make it?
Let's maybe get out of the 20-mile-an-hour restrictions. But yeah, of course, I'm sure we can find somewhere.
But I just think these cars are so well balanced. They've got such great grip. Almost intoxicating to drive, even at low speeds, because we're not doing a huge amount, but as a rear spoiler lover, I know that I'm giving a little bit of pleasure to anyone looking at us.
With Tom and that V12, we were talking about that car, and the problem with big V12s and big supercars is you do need a lot of road to really appreciate them. With the hot hatches, which has always been the greatest part of them, you can enjoy them anywhere.
Exactly.
And you can still put the kids in the back, the shopping in the
Yes.
boot, and you can still be a hooligan.
Yeah.
All those things we're not supposed to do anymore, but of course we still can.
And this one in particular, it just feels almost new because it is done under 3,000 miles.
It's an incredibly low mileage, 2,600 miles from it. We're quite privileged really to be allowed to drive it at all, because obviously key to value now is this small amount of mileage.
Yeah.
And so this one was originally bought from new by the chap that unfortunately passed away, and his wife, I'm not surprised, didn't want to let it go because it was his pride and joy.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop her from taking it to Ford every single year and servicing it.
Yeah.
So serviced every single year at Ford and maintained impeccably.
It is almost like it's got more services than it has miles on the clock.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? But what a great story. It's everything you want from a collector's Ford RS.
Yeah. So we've got a 2.5 litre, 5-cylinder turbocharged engine.
Right.
Brake horsepower, 300. Oh yeah. 0 to 62, 5.9 seconds.
Okay, yeah.
Top speed, 163. All those figures are not, oh my gosh, wow figures, but in this lovely light package, it's potent, a real potent package.
And as we also said, there's not much need. Oh, hello. Oh.
That 5-cylinder burble.
Yeah, coupled to a nice exhaust note from the rear. It's just a lovely. But you're right, you don't need 3 seconds 0 to 60. You don't need 200 miles an hour because you're in a hatchback that you can drive around streets.
Yeah.
So you don't need an autobahn to have fun in it.
Yeah. And also, this weighs about 1,500 kilograms, okay, which is quite light by modern standards. And you can feel it in its agility. It kind of translates quite nicely with the power to weight ratio, and it does feel lively. You know, it's not as light and as prancy as, you know, an old 205,
Yep.
but it's got elements of that
Because
in
you've
it.
still got your driver's aid, you've still got a fair bit of tech, you've still got air conditioning, you've still got, was that cruise control there? You know, we've got modern luxuries. It's
Yeah.
certainly not a stripped out car.
Let's talk money then.
Mm-hmm.
In the shadow of the castle,
Yes.
the dirty subject of money, the Queen would not approve. However, this car, when it was brand new, was about £27,500.
Okay.
Could this car double that value at auction?
It's conceivable because of the mileage and because of the provenance. The Ford market is incredibly collectible. It's a bit of that sort of, I'd say, local hero done well story, isn't it? Because it's things you grew up with, things you like, and a lot of people really love Fords. And we've seen, only last week, there was a Ford Capri that set an auction record fee of £57,000 at another auction house. Now, if you get a slice of that, you could genuinely see this getting close to doubling its money from new, which is incredible when you think that it's a Ford Focus.
But it's an RS, and that RS just makes people go a little bit tingly inside.
I still go weak at the knees on the old Escort Cosworths.
Yeah.
I grew up with those and I absolutely loved them.
Yeah.
And it was all about the whale tail and the body kit, and it's just carried on that lineage of people wanting the hot hatch. What was originally the king of the hot hatch, and I don't see that stopping, and I certainly don't see it slowing. And they're still affordable, even at this level, which is a lot of money for an RS. It's not astronomical money. And when you see them holding their value as well, the key is still, could you buy it and drive it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Just let it go. Let it move for its mileage. We're going to go through it. You've got to drive it. You've got to enjoy it. Because I understand why people love mileage, but I do hate that it hunkers us back a little bit and people are worried about driving their cars. That's the shame. So well specified, which does, again, tick boxes. I mean, I don't see many blanked out switches around here, which is always a nice sign, isn't it?
The options list
Yeah.
was nicely fulfilled.
But I think one of the best parts from new is these little turbo gauges.
I love a turbo gauge.
It's such an 80s thing, isn't it?
I know, but it's such an addictive thing as well. I have to. There we go.
Just watch things jumping around. It's brilliant.
Oh, it's just too much. It's like those fruit machines, isn't it? It's just like, oh, I need to see it move again. I need to see it move again.
So while Vicki seems very impressed and happy with her Ford Focus RS, I'm bringing something a little bit more elegant to the party today. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a second generation Aston Martin Vanquish. It is powered by a naturally aspirated V12 engine. And whilst it's beautiful to look at, I would argue that it's actually better to listen to. So without further ado then, let's go for a drive. And here we are. Who better to accompany than Mr. Mathew Priddy? Welcome, sir. Let's get in.
So how does it feel?
I'm very happy. I'm very comfortable in here. It's very serene and pleasant at kind of low speeds and when you're kind of just chilling. So what we've got then, and I'm going to press you on the auction details as well, because I think a lot of people will be surprised by the value that this thing will be coming out at. We've got a naturally aspirated V12, lovely stuff, 565 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds, top speed, 183 miles an hour. And actually, the original design of the Vanquish was a Mr. Ian Callum.
Yep.
The Generation 2 was designed by Marek Reichman, but there's real design heritage in this car.
Well, having seen you in your tux at the weekend at Goodwood, I thought this is a bit of you, a bit of James Bond, you see. And actually, it's understated but beautiful, isn't it? And a bit like the Speciale we filmed last time, it's also got a nice dampener setup that you can have a normal mode, comfort mode, which makes it more GT-like, and then that ability to pop it into sport and have that V12 really make some noise for us.
So you've got sport button there, and you can just feel now the throttle response has picked up, a little bit more throat from the back.
There's a hell of a lot of V12 to push on these roads, and we need a bigger road.
Brakes are really, really good actually. A lot of bite in those. Very nice indeed. I'm very happy in here. So what is the estimate on this car?
60 to 72,000 pounds for a second generation Vanquish like this.
That's really, really good. And this one's loaded as well, so I can see Bang & Olufsen Hi-Fi. Obviously you've got the interior inspired by the 177. You've got full carbon here and full carbon all around the outside of the car as well. Carbon wing mirrors, carbon sills, the whole lot.
It's an incredible feel, look, and I mean, you think about the Generation 1 Vanquishes, they're only, you know, they're 50, 60, 70. To get the Generation 2, now they are a different car, there's the old handmade versus this, but it's incredibly pretty. I don't see many Generation 2s about. I think that they're rare enough that if you bought one today, it would genuinely look like a brand new car.
So very key, no pun intended, on older Astons is that crystal key that they came with. Most of them got smashed, and most of them are now left with the valet key or the original key, which is cracked. A new one of those is 1,500 quid.
Probably at least. By the time you programmed it all in, it becomes a real pain in the backside. So one of those things you really want to make sure there's with it when you purchase it.
And this has got that. We can see it resplendent in the dash there. Actually, when I had a Vantage with similar key, I never actually used it because I knew how valuable it was. So I ran around with the valet key everywhere, the second key.
Just couldn't trust yourself.
No, I couldn't. I drop everything. So then, for someone who's looking at this car and thinks, I like a bit of that, I like that kind of vibe, I like the V12 four-seater thing that I can also take out for an absolute hoof, what other options are there?
Well, naturally aspirated V12s at this age, there's not a lot. We're talking what? You're probably talking 40, 50,000 pounds more to get into something that would qualify as a super sports car like this.
Like an FF?
What are they? What is their price listed? About 40,000 pounds more at least?
Yeah, I mean, for a nice one of those, you're looking at 120, 130.
Yeah, you're instantly climbing up over 100,000 pounds for anything I think that you could put in the same league.
Yeah.
It's incredible value.
I think these are truly timeless. I know a lot of cars, people say, it's timeless design, but I genuinely think this is one of the best looking Astons they've ever made.
I still look it back to sort of DB9s and Generation 1 Vanquishes now, which I still think are incredibly pretty and have stood the test of time. They don't date particularly badly. They are always looking fresh in my mind.
Unlike, arguably, new Astons. There's not much they're making now that you think that is truly stunning and will look stunning in 10, 15 years' time.
So I know that Tom and Vicki think they've got it licked with their modern classics, and as lovely as they are, I've gone for something a little bit more classy in my book. This is a beautiful Mercedes-Benz 280 SE Cabriolet with that 3.5 litre V8 engine. Interestingly, only about 1,200 of these are ever made, and they are absolutely stunning. Presented in this deep green with a tan hood and beautiful tan leather interior, the estimate's only about 165 to 200, which in my book is very, very good value. So over these three cars, I think personally this one's going to sell the best, and yet again I'll win.
So we have one old school classic, one V12 and one hot hatch, and that is just a reflection of what is at the auction on July the 16th. Please go to the Historics website where we have a full listing of everything.
And as always, make sure you go and check out the Historics Auctions YouTube channel where there's plenty of content with us three lovely individuals driving various cars, and that'll be updated for every single auction with a run round of each car as well. And of course there is the Historics podcast as well, which we get into some very nice nit and gritty and various different topics. So make sure you're following that as well, all your usual streaming platforms and Instagram as well. Give Historics Auctions a follow on there as well.
So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you all on the 16th for the July auction. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you, Matthew.
We'll see you soon. Bye.